Hello YouTube fans, this is David Bicara of Expedition Bigfoot, the Sasquatch Museum in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Wait a sec. No, this is Dr. Matthew Johnson. I just happened to be wearing a t-shirt that David Bicara gave me while he was attending our 3rd annual Bigfoot University in Bremerton, Washington. Now, it's been a long time since I've shot a video for you guys. Some of you are asking, why has it been a long time since you made a video for us guys? Well, that's a very good question. The answer to that question is because what do you talk about after everything that's happened? Seriously, what do you talk about? What are you referring to, Dr. J? Well, come on now. Please tell me that you have done your homework. You've scrolled down and you've watched part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 of The Great Reveal. Tell me you've done your homework and you've bought the book that I recently wrote, that Bob Gimlin actually did write the foreword for, and just scroll down in the video and you'll see all the evidence that says he actually dictated it to Lieutenant Colonel Kevin Jones, who went home, typed it up, brought it back to him for his review, changed a couple words, got his approval, went back home, typed up the finished version, and at Bob Gimlin's direction, passed it on to me to put in my book. So don't go there. That's just old school BS politics and pressure, getting him to back off and recant. Now, moving on. Once again, watch the video. Scroll down, watch the video. The evidence is clear. Okay, now moving on. Now, how do you follow up with everything that's happened? How do you follow up with the fact that so much information has been revealed by Zorth, who's the head clan leader of the Council of 12, and everything that is revealed? Once again, if you want to know everything that's revealed, scroll down, watch part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4 of The Great Reveal. Yes, it's going to take 4 hours of your time. 4 hours. Hello. I spent 17 years to get there. You can take 4 hours, right? You can take 4 hours. Took me 17 years to get there. I'm saving you a whole lot of time. You take the 4 hours to get there. So I'm not going to repeat everything in this video. But I do want to touch upon gifting bowls. Now, in my book, I shared with everybody the protocol for gifting bowls. And in my videos, I've shared the protocol for gifting bowls. Now, here's what I want to remind all of you. A few key important things about gifting bowls. First of all, I took the first 10 years utilizing old school aggressive research tactics, thinking of them as descendants of Gigantopithecus, Latin for giant mountain ape, which they have a fossil record for out of caves in China consisting of a tooth and part of a jawbone. That's it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. When they say they have a fossil record for it, they're leading you to believe from head to toe they've got a fossil record. No, they don't. A tooth and a jaw. That's it. And then they make this big theory about how Bigfoot is a descendant of Gigantopithecus without one shred of evidence. And they're always yelling at us, woo-woo, habituators, interactionists, where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? You got no evidence. So anyway, for the first 10 years, I did the old schooler approach, thinking dumb giant mountain ape, right? So I'd throw the bait pile on the ground, right? Because the dumb giant mountain ape, you'd put the food on the ground, baiting the dumb animal. Well, after 10 years of that, didn't work. And I might add, for 4 years, after I switched over to the Southern Oregon habituation area, before I started habituating, I'd put the food on the ground for 4 years. And you also need to keep in mind that I Everyone's different, but I was going out at least 6 to 8 days a month. Now you do the math. 6 times 12, that's 72 days a year. 8 times 12, okay, that's 96 days a year. Then you do that for like 17 years, right? I've been out there for well over a year in days. So you need to keep in mind when you're thinking about gifting the Bigfoot, etc. I was out there 10 years utilizing old school tactics. When I moved to the SOA area for 4 years, I still use old school tactics before I flipped over to habituation, to do the Dr. Jane Goodall approach. Leave the high-tech equipment at home and just think of them as the North American Indians have been thinking about them for thousands of years. They're a people, they're forest people. You can go out there and respectfully leave the food off the ground inside large stainless steel dog food bowls, otherwise known as gifting bowls. So then I did that for a year and they still didn't touch the food. So you need to keep in mind, for 11 years I was putting food out for them and they weren't taking it, right? So finally, after a year of switching over to the stainless steel dog food bowls and doing that 6 to 8 times a month, every month, right? And not taking the food, and I might add little critters not taking the food. Finally, they started taking the food because they realized my attitude and my approach was changing. And then they kept taking the food and they'd be selective, and it took me a long time to figure out that they weren't taking the meat. They weren't taking the fruit or the vegetables. They gravitated toward the bread products. Took me a long time to figure it out. They wanted the bagels, the cheese bread, the donuts, the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. They wanted the bread products, which I might add are loaded with high carb energy, right? Energy. Okay. So did that for a few years, right? And would wear the gloves and clean the bowls and remove any and all traces of any kind of prints. Put the bowls out at sunset, pick them up at sunrise with multiple witnesses present. Scroll down and watch the videos of where I've done that with multiple witnesses present who evaluate the bowls, and we find fingerprints on them and handprints, and they've been evaluated by fingerprint expert for the Washington State Police, who said that they're not human, nor do they come from any kind of known primate species at the zoo in Seattle. Got saliva sample and all that kind of stuff, pictures. So after a while, years, they stopped taking the food. It was like they were cutting me off, shutting me down. And I didn't know why they were doing that. It was like, did I offend you? Why aren't you taking the food anymore? And little did I know that coming down the pike in a couple months, the trolls were going to bust SOA. So I think they were preparing me for that fact and kind of weaning me off the gifting bowls and getting me ready for a move is what I think happened. And then the move happened and we went to the Southern Oregon Interaction Area. And that lasted for a couple months. They shut down the gifting bowl, said no more gifting bowls, and that was in mind speak, and put the eggs off the table, no more control variables. If you just want to leave us some food, that's cool. We're probably not going to take it, but we might, but it's no longer needed. And what they were pretty much telling me is, yo, dude, we were doing the gifting bowls for you. We were habituating you. You needed the evidence. You needed to see us interact with you through the bowls. That was for you. You were not habituating us. We were habituating you. Okay? They were habituating me. I wasn't habituating them. I thought I was, but I wasn't. They were using that to habituate me because they knew that the circumstantial evidence was important to me. They knew that, the tracks in the ground and fingerprints on the bowls and saliva samples and pictures and audio recordings all meant something to me. And if you go to soundcloud.com, you can hear and type in Team Squatching USA, you can hear all kinds of audio recordings of spoken language and singing, etc. So they knew the collection of all that circumstantial evidence was important to me. And for a few years, they gave it to me. Not only for me to habituate me, but also to let all you know via watching the multiple witness video testimonies on the YouTube channel, scroll down and watch, reading the book, listening to the audio recordings, that you would know that I'm really interacting with them, right? So I established some credibility over time. But eventually, I had to move away from the first Soya area because Onks let me out there and found a note was being threatened, so I moved to the second Soya area, which we just call Soya, not to confuse anyone. SOIA, Southern Oregon Interaction Area. No longer habituation area because they made it clear, no more food, no more eggs, no more audio recordings. Just come out and hang out with us and interact, which we do. And I bring multiple witnesses with me, and once again, scroll down and watch their testimonials. I'm not making this crap up, okay? Either I'm lying to you, okay, or I'm crazy, or I'm telling you the truth. And if it was just me alone, I could understand how you could conclude the guy is lying or the guy's crazy, right? Just me alone, I could see how you can conclude that. But when you have multiple witness testimonies who've been out there with me and all their videos are down below, watch them, watch the videos, listen to them. You cannot call all of us liars. You cannot call all of us crazy. It's real. And all that led up to the Exodus. Almost 1 year ago, on June 26th and 27th. Okay, technically speaking, it went till 1:30 on the 28th as well. So, you know, it was freaking awesome. And so how do I follow up with YouTube videos on that? Well, I can follow up by saying, you know what? Even though it's been in videos, even though I wrote about the protocol in my book, I would suggest that you learn from what has happened to me and maybe consider stopping the gifting bowls. Okay? Stop using the gifting bowls. Leave the high-tech equipment at home. Go out there like I have 6 to 8 days a month, after month after month. Sleep out in the open on cots. Do not sleep in your vehicles, your campers. Do not sleep in your tents. Sleep out in the open on cots. No lights policy. No campfires, no flashlights, no lanterns, no headlamps. Well, I use that red filter. I just said no lights. Okay, get your stuff ready before the sun goes down. So you don't have to turn on a flashlight in the dark. Okay, because you can see their shimmering images better in the dark when the ambient light hits it. And yes, much like Barb Shoop's video or like Arnold Schwarzenegger's Predator movie, when you see the shimmering cloaked image, that's what you see at night when the ambient light is hitting them. And sometimes on a good day, you can see it too. So anyway, stop the gifting bowls. Just go out there and hang out, like I also mentioned in my book, like I also have mentioned on my videos. So bypass the gifting bowls. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It got me to where I am now. You can save that time because Zorth made it clear that kind people with good hearts and open minds that reach out to us, we will reach back to them. So get out there and reach out. Get out there and establish a camp without any fires or lights, without any tents or campers. Sit in your chair at night, sing, play music, laugh and talk with other people if they have flutes or violins or guitars that they can play, play those as well. I usually take an MP3 player and a portable Bose speaker and play my music that way. What matters the most is that whether you're singing, playing the music, playing a live instrument, that it's got to come from the heart. When you're singing those songs, when you're playing that music, if they can connect with you in your heart while you're playing the music, then you're going to connect with them. Also, when you're out there, talk to them in your mind, talk to them with your mouth. Reach out to them. Well, I have gone out, just like you said, Dr. J, and they haven't reached back. Oh, goodness. Patience is a virtue. It took me 17 years to get here. and you expect to go out there one time, twice, 10 times and accomplish what I've accomplished in 17 years? Now, I do know some people that have used the protocols and suggestions that I've offered have actually established contact their first, second, third time out of the gates, but others are still, slowly but surely and patiently working on that contact. The important thing is persistence, commitment, hanging in there, going back time and time again. And the important thing is showing them no fear, because when you show them that you trust them, they come in closer to you. If you act all afraid and you got to have light on, you got to be inside your tent, your camper, they might take you or the kids or the women, fear, then they're going to keep their distance from you. So I recommend give up the gifting bowls, get out there and reach out. Leave the high-tech equipment at home. That includes audio recordings. Just get out there, talk to them, hang out, night sits, no lights. Talk, sing, laugh, have fun, play instruments, play your music. Sleep out in the open on cots. And when you're sleeping out in the open on cots, if they come in and touch you, don't freak out, because that's going to push them back. Trust them. They're probably conducting a medical scan with their hand like they've done with so many people when they go to Soya with me. And if they see you have a problem, they're going to work on trying to heal you, which they've done with at least 8 people that have been with me to Soa and Soya. Don't freak out if they touch you. Don't freak out if they're standing there next to your cot, cloaked or uncloaked. Don't freak out. Trust them. Now, one other thing that I want to talk about is I have never, ever called the Bigfoot forest people, plant people. Never. Read my book. Well, I know he hadn't. Read my book. You haven't read my book? Watch my videos. I have never called the Bigfoot forest people plant people. I haven't. So stop it. What I have said is what Zorth told me. Zorth told me that they're beings of light. They're the orbs. Zorth told me that during the day, they will occupy a tree. They will go into a tree and they will soak up the energy that the sun gives them during the day. Okay? They'll go into trees and soak up the energy from the sun and the nutrients from the roots in the ground. And then at night, when the sun goes down, they come out to play and do their thing. I have never said they're plant people, so stop it. I have only shared with you what Zorth shared with me, that they're beings of light. They're orbs. They're energy. And they go into the trees during the day to get the energy, the nutrients from the ground. They give something back to the tree. They have a symbiotic relationship, and then they come out at night to do their thing. I have never called them plant people. Do not put words into my mouth. Do not lie about what I said. And more than likely, it's not lying. It's just ignorance, because you haven't read my book and you haven't watched my videos. Stop it. Never called them plant people. By the way, for those of you who think they're plant people, that concept has been around for hundreds, thousands of years. Go back to the Druids in Ireland. Go back to other European cultures and other cultures around the world. That whole concept of plant people didn't start with you in this century. God. They're orbs. They're beings of light. That's who they are. And they can shapeshift into anything they want to be. They intentionally chose upright, hairy, bipedal hominids to get our attention so that we would work with them over the last 50 years to eventually help them achieve a shunt, keeping the portal open between Earth and their planet to get the remaining souls from their dying world to Earth. Okay, so anyway, that's the deal. Now, last but not least, and then I'm going to call it a day with this video, is if you want to PM me questions, I'll try to get them answered in the future. Zorth wants me to write another book. I've asked him to, for a timeout. I've, given you guys 17 years of my life. I need a little break. Cynthia and I are in the process of, selling our home and buying a different home and moving, and got a lot going on. So told him to give me a break, and maybe this fall I'll write it. So if you have questions you want me to ask Zorth and include in the book, I'll do that. And as interesting stuff occurs, I'll share it with you. Like if you go down my personal timeline on Facebook, or if you go into the Team Squatching USA group and you look at the home inspection post, you'll see our new home that, we're working on moving into. But you also see some pretty cool backyard shots, including wood structures and asterisks woven into some trees and some large footprints on the ground. Grady saw one walk away, and then I got back to the house with Grady, and then I was, mind spoken to and asked to take some pictures, and I did, and we caught an adult holding a toddler in the tree line in the backyard. Go check out the pics. They're pretty cool. And Zorth did tell me, when you guys get your new home, we'll have a family there waiting for you. And sure enough, we haven't even moved in. We were just there for 2.5 hours for home inspection, including a walk through the woods. And there they were, just like Zorth said they would be. A family would be waiting for you. So, check that stuff out. And if you're new to me, new to my videos, I know I have a lot of videos on this channel, but if you really want to learn and understand the whole Bigfoot Forest People phenomenon, then scroll down to the very bottom, work your way up. Go to my SoundCloud.com audio files, type in Team Squatching USA, go to the very bottom, work your way up. Do your homework, and you'll see that I'm legit, and you'll see all the multiple witnesses that I've involved with me over the last 17 years. Not all of them are on video, but a lot of them are, and I've taken 60 plus people, and I'm taking a few more with me to Soya. So anyway, there's your video. Some of you have been going, how come you haven't done any videos for a while? Well, I've been busy and I needed a break. But here's your video. We'll have more coming at you. This is Dr. J, loving you guys, signing off.